All right, ladies and gentlemen, once again, a special edition of the Unsung Heroes. We're doing another phone interview today. This time, I ran into this guy in the pits talking about his first career main event in East Rutherford, and I said, "Hey, man, you put it in the main again, I'll interview you." Unfortunately, I didn't get out of the press conference until everybody was pretty much gone from the pits, but a promise is a promise, and here he is, finishing 19th in Pittsburgh in the 250 class, the number 351 Kawasaki, Maryland native Jack Rogers is on the Unsung Heroes. What's up, man?
What's up? How's it going, dude?
It's going good. Thank you for the time, and once again, second career start. Congrats on the recent success.
Yeah, man, I can't believe it. I've been racing professional supercross for the past 4 years. This is the fourth season I've been doing it. And yeah, to get these last two mains under the belt in the last two races, I mean, two in a row straight through the heat was insane. I don't think I could have done it any better than that. But yeah, it feels freaking good, and I'm just pumped to get my first main down.
Yeah, first question for you, as I always do with my riders I feature on here. Tell me a little bit about your day. Obviously, free practice was canceled for you guys, so you jumped straight into qualifying. And then take me through that, through your heat race, like you said, another automatic transfer where you didn't have to deal with the LCQ. And then take me through your main event and how it went. I know I was watching up in the press box. I was trying to keep my eyes peeled on the lead battle, but I know you and Jorgensen and Lahovey, I think, were back there scrapping for 18th during part of the main event, and you guys were going at it. So take me through your day and how everything went in your second career main event.
Yeah, it was a weird day, without having free practice. So we're just straight into qualifier one. And, only 6 minutes to learn the track. And, with 6 minutes, you also have to put a lap down because you never know how the track's going to be, if it's going to get faster or slower. So, yeah, I mean, I put a lap down like one of the last laps in qualifier one, and it put me second on the board. And then the times didn't get much faster in the end for the second qualifier. So I ended up 14th out of qualifying, which was my best this season. So like instant confidence, right from there. I knew I had the speed. Just went out in the heat race. Didn't pull a good start. I've been on the practice bike the past 2 weeks. Blew up the race bike, so that's just all I have. That's all I've been riding, bone stock motor. So I just haven't been getting the starts that I needed, but been making my way through the pack on the first couple laps, and yeah, I put myself in a perfect spot in that heat race. Held down eighth to the finish, and yeah, that was huge. And then just having that huge break and not having to go to the LCQ, and getting something to eat in and resting a little bit is a big thing for that main to get some energy in. And man, I just didn't have enough in that main. I got up to like 16th, around halfway, and kind of just hit a wall. But yeah, 19th, not bad. Still scored some points, so still a huge night for me.
You just talking about riding your practice bike in the races. I wasn't aware of this. So what happened to you race bike wise? You talked about having some motor issues. What went on earlier in the season that caused you to make the practice bike? But it seems like it's a good luck charm with the last two races in a row, you putting it in the show.
Yeah, it almost makes me seem like I shouldn't even build a motor anymore. I mean, this stock bike's been getting the job done. But now 2 weeks ago, I was just did tech, did sound, was sitting there revving my bike, and it wasn't getting any oil to the head, and it just seized. So I had to swap all my parts to my practice bike, and yeah, that was at MetLife, and I ended up making my first main there. But yeah, it just kind of sucks. Practice bike's just bone stock. Luckily, it's not freaking all roached out and hammered. It's in pretty decent condition. But yeah, I mean, these freaking stock cowies, I guess, aren't too bad. Still get the job done.
Man, that's a crazy turnaround. I had no idea that that all happened before East Rutherford, and there you go. You make the main events. I know the last couple years, as you mentioned, you've been racing Supercross for a while now and just haven't put it together, but you've started to finally click the last few weeks. Is there something you found working through the weeks and training, or has it just been kind of a culmination of all the work you put in from the past few years?
Honestly, like I feel like this year I've been having more fun with it. Just been bouncing around, riding different places. I haven't really ridden a legit Supercross track, during the week, and few weeks at least. I rode over at my buddy Hayden Hafner's in North Carolina. That was around the Alabama round, and after that, I've just been riding private stuff in Maryland, just having fun and just getting comfortable on my bike. I think the years before, I just wasn't riding enough, maybe, just not feeling too comfortable. And I don't know, this year's just been clicking. I know I've had the speed, even last year and the year before, I've definitely had the speed to be in the main. I just haven't had the races where, everything was just put together and I felt like I was in a good spot. I mean, this year it just felt like just a lot more comfortable to run that pace and be up with those riders, in that heat race. I think that's a big thing. The LCQ is a different story because everybody you're racing's in the LCQ. At least the heats, they're all divided and stuff, so you have a little bit better chance there. That's my opinion.
I mean, you talk about having success in a certain state, and you scored your first career point at High Point a couple years ago. Now you're putting it in the main event again in this East Coast stretch. I know there's not a race in Maryland for the Supercross series where you're from, but how was your experience with the Northeastern stretch? I know they hyped it up a lot on the broadcast this year, going from Foxborough, which of course was a disaster for a lot of teams for different reasons, but then going to Philly, to Jersey, to Pittsburgh. What were your takeaways from this Northeast stretch, and how cool was it for you being fairly close to the region and being able to race up there in front of a lot of really good fan bases?
Yeah, it was definitely easy, having those 4 rounds back to back to back. It was close to my house. I mean, every round besides Foxborough was under 4 hours from my house. So, pretty local, pretty easy drive. And yeah, like having those at the end too. Usually, like you never know what they're gonna do with the series, and they'll just make them all split up. And it's cool they put them together like that. And we kind of noticed, the fans in the pits, like you kind of see the same fans almost every weekend at those close rounds because they're able to, go to multiple rounds. I mean, I remember when I was younger, the closest Supercross we had growing up was Atlanta, I think, and that's like 10, 11 hours from my house. So it's definitely cool to have some local rounds, see some local people for sure.
That kind of relates to what I was going through. I was telling people, hey, this is my first round with a media pass working and my first Supercross ever because that's how I was. Maryland, West Virginia is kind of in a dead zone before the last couple of years for Supercross. For me, it would have probably been Indianapolis, maybe would have been the closest one, and that's at least a good 6-7 hours away. But you told me a little bit before we started the interview part of it. You're heading out to Denver this weekend. You hopping on the 450 and trying to give it a go in the Premier class this weekend, or what's the plans?
I think we might stay on the 250. I'm not totally sure. Just we feel comfortable on that. I haven't had much Supercross time on the 450 yet. But we're just gonna race the 450 class. I've done a couple this year, so I know I'll be able to qualify, and it's just good to make some money and just stay riding and have fun. I love doing these Supercross rounds. I just want to end out the season, and I've never went to Denver or Salt Lake before, so I'm gonna have fun for sure.
Speaking of the 450, will you be staying on the 250F for the summer rounds during the motocross season again, or will you be moving up for that?
The plan is to stay on the 250 for outdoors. Last year I tried to do some on the 450. It was just kind of difficult. Didn't have much time on it, so we're gonna go back to the 250 again and see if we could have some success again on there.
You talked a little bit about Kawasaki and how the stock motor's been helping you get around these tracks and qualify for main events. And I know the last several years that you've been pro, you've been a Kawasaki guy. How long have you been running the green bikes? Is that something that you grew up racing and have just stayed loyal to, or what was the decision behind racing a Kawasaki once you turned pro?
Yeah, I mean, ever since I got an 85 when I was like 12 years old, I've been on a Kawasaki. So just kind of stuck to those. They're also pretty affordable too. Kind of got this dealership recycles. My man Will over there has been hooking me up for the past 3-4 years. Really been helping me out and getting me what I need. So couldn't be more thankful for him and everything he does for me.
A lot of people see you guys, the privateers, and wonder how you guys do it. I mean, for you, you're driving around to all these races in a van, kind of doing it on your own. Of course, you and your buddy Preston Taylor have been going to all these races and just living the dream. But what is it like for you by yourself, or if you have maybe another person with you, to go all around the country to these different venues and stadiums where some of these other guys, whether they're on a factory team or even some of the smaller teams, they have a hauler to go into and to rest during the day and also keep their bike under. But for you, you're out there grinding, driving to every race in a van, keeping it kind of core, as they would say. So what's it like just being able to drive around place to place and wherever you park, it's kind of home for the weekend?
Yeah, I mean, I kind of enjoy it. I mean, we get that freedom to kind of show up whenever, do whatever. We don't have the team dinners and team meetings like that. So, but the goal is to get on a team like that for sure. I mean, I like doing it by myself. It is cool. I'm thankful for all the sponsors that help me do it. But at the end of the day, the goal is to get on a team just to get rid of some of those responsibilities you have. All the worries you have of your van or bikes and stuff. Once you get on a team, you don't really have to worry about much. You just kind of show up and ride your dirt bike. So that's really the goal. I mean, nobody really wants to stay privateer forever, but you got to do what you got to do sometimes.
You've obviously had a great season, as we talked about. You finally got that monkey off your back and started putting it in the main event. So to wrap this thing up a little bit, what are your biggest takeaways from the Supercross season? Obviously, you finally accomplished a dream that you've had for a long time, but how's your confidence going? I'm sure it's high, and what are you going to be working on and preparing for the summer rounds?
Oh yeah, just got to keep reminding myself to never give up. I mean, after that many races that I didn't make a main, it almost seemed impossible. But once I did it, it almost seems easy. And hopefully, I can start clicking them off next year. And yeah, just start getting better and better. Just 1% better every day is the goal.
You talked about, of course, all the main event starts and the people backing you. Before we go, give a little bit of a shout out to some of the sponsors that have been helping you over the years, because I know you're on a private program, so some people may not know some of the businesses that are helping you, but give a shout out to some of the people that are helping you get to the track and chase the dream.
Yeah, for sure. Want to give a shout out to my main sponsor, Baby Builders. They've been a huge help this past year and a half. Um, just getting me really anything that I need, everything that I need to go racing. They've been a huge help budget-wise and getting me parts, bikes, and everything. Shout out to Heiser Cycles, Will over there. He gets me a couple bikes a year, which is a huge help. I don't have to come out of pocket to buy a motorcycle, so thanks to him. And then Beeline Racing, Joe Beck over there, he helps me out with some cash, get some race fuel, gas money, get to the races. Um, Moto Spec, Traders Racing, Eric at Adept Graphics, Evan at Thor for the gear. He hooks it up. Rye Helmets, Aaron at Oakley, um, and everybody I forgot. I mean, there's a lot. The list goes on, but yeah, definitely couldn't do it without those people.
There you go, ladies and gentlemen. Jack Rogers, first interview on the Unsung Heroes. Thank you for the time once again, man. If you're going to Denver or Salt Lake, look for the 351 and Kawasaki in the pits. And I'm guessing you're going to be doing all the East Coast rounds this summer at the Motocross series. Is that the plan?
Yep, yeah, that'll be the plan. Just the close ones near me. There's skipping those first three out west, but yeah, all the East rounds I'll be doing.
Sounds good, man. Thanks for the time once again, and congrats on another main event appearance.
Yep, thanks.